This is it. This is what happens when there are no UFO stories. I've said this before in the past. Usually around a holiday or around weekends, there's no good UFO stories. It just doesn't happen. We've got Thanksgiving coming up here shortly, and actually about a week's time. There's no UFO stories. Where the fuck are the UFOs? Are you telling me aliens from 4.2 far are getting ready for Thanksgiving? They're carving themselves some cattle meat, and they're basically serving it across pictures of the last human they probed. Is that what their Thanksgiving is about? Is that what they're celebrating right now? Endless probings. Like an all-you-can-probe buffet. And they bring it home to their dads, their mamas, and their dadas, and their papas. And they show them, hey, look at what I did the last 2 weeks at work. I probed this guy over here. He was in the country. I probed this lady over here. She thought she was safe in the city. Is that what happens? Do they bring their work home with them? I don't understand. Where the fuck are they right now? How do they get Thanksgiving off? First question. This is what happens when there's no UFO sightings. My mind starts to wander a bit. You know, lately we've had a good run of like SpaceX and space news. You know, we got Planet 9. We got all these asteroids coming from 4.2 far. You know, outside of our little neck of the woods in the Milky Way galaxy. So we got stuff like that to talk about. We talked about Lieutenant Fravor, Tic Tac, Nimitz, all that good stuff. But then all of a sudden, shit just dies, like dead. And I've told you a million times, it always happens around holidays and weekends. What is this? I don't get. Are we programmed this way? So are the aliens taking time off, and so they've programmed us to do the same? Where are we? What is going on? I want to give a shout out to Chris on YouTube, who sent a comment regarding the episode that I did about the Nimitz and the Tic Tac and oh my. And there was one thing I said at the very end. The last comment I sent to Chris, I said, Chris, I feel that the Nimitz incident will eventually fall to the dark side. Though we have first-hand testimony, though we have video, we have people coming out of the woodwork that were part of that Nimitz flotilla. These are military men and women who are reporting this. Some retired, a few are still in it to win it. But yet, the story moves nowhere. And we've hit that point. It is that point where you are like, you're teetering right now, whether or not this will be something to move the discussion forward, or it will end up in oblivion, like Roswell. Like Roswell, in about 20 years, we'll have the Nimitz Incident Festival every fucking year. And at year 22, someone will say, I've got new evidence. And then year 24, I've got new evidence. Year 27, I've got new evidence. And then it'll be, well, shit, we need more evidence because most of the people are dying. And then that year, maybe 35, everybody's dead for the Nimitz incident. Let's make shit up. Let's just find shit just because we can, because no one's going to corroborate what the hell we're talking about because they're all dead. So now we just make shit up as we go along. I have a feeling that no matter the fact that we had so many folks who are part of the military to come forward, even though Lozano went and stole the information, even though Fravor has been doing the circuit of promoting what he sees as the truth about that incident, it means nothing. I mean, really think about it. If we had everyone in Roswell, going out and promoting, like on a junket, just going from podcast to podcast, radio to TV, just explaining what they saw. And at the end of the day, we're like, God, that's good news. Who killed who? Well, the president said what? Folks, when you really think about it, evidence of alien life or technology or things like that trumps, pun intended, trumps everything that's going on in the world. It really does, because it really does become trivial to the fact that you have an alien force, alien presence, basically running circles around the military that spends quadrillions of dollars in technology to make sure that doesn't happen. But it's being ignored by and large by most of the population. So yeah, I see this Nimitz incident basically becoming another Roswell eventually. And the sad thing is that there's a lot of things in the works that will bring us to what people consistently theorize is a slow churning snail's crawl towards disclosure that involves first identifying microbial life in another planet in the solar system. And you know what? For Pete's sake, I saw an article today where a scientist has identified insects on some of the Mars rover pictures, the Curiosity. I totally forgot about that today. I was going to talk about that today, but we'll leave that for tomorrow, because today I'm going to where a lot of people go to and keep it totally secret. You know, like that crazy ass uncle from back in the day. You keep him secret. You don't tell anybody about him because he does a lot of crazy shit. But this is crazy. And the question is, are reptilians real? Are they real? Have you seen one? Have you experienced one? Do you think your boss, who's a complete asshole, is he a reptilian? Is the CEO of your company a reptilian? The governor, the mayor? Because apparently reptilians, they take the form of popular folks, people in power. I mean, there's never like, oh shit, poor Joe Bob, who lost his job and his kids kicked him out the house, and he's on crack for like 15 years now, has no teeth. Nobody says that guy's a reptilian. Not once. It's always the people that are in power, like Madonna. I don't know why, but Madonna is always a reptilian. Like no matter how many people come out and say they believe in reptilians, Madonna is always a reptilian. I don't understand. That just, it boggles the mind. I don't see where she's so power hungry. But again, I don't know everything, right? Because I'm not a reptilian conspirator. I'm not into this conspiracies of reptilians. But we're going to look at a couple of things regarding reptilians. One of them is what psychology kind of looks at when they look at people who have conspiracy theories like the stories of reptilians. And then we're going to go to a murder case that dealt with reptilians. And then who knows where we're going to go from there. But all I can say is that I can't explain. I really can't explain what the hell is going on. Dateline, November 20th, 1925. I don't know. I just kind of goofed that up. It turns out that a lot of people believe about reptilians, but psychology says it's maybe not necessarily about the fact that there are really, for reals, reptilians around. And when I think about reptilians, I go back to, back in the day, there was that one show that has the sleaze stack in it. You know, those reptilian guys that walked around that would come out of the caves and shit and scare the fuck out of you when you were a kid. Because you didn't want to see no damn sleaze stack rolling up on you. Actually, before I go forward, I just want to say hello to Gooter. Gooter's on a live chat. And every time I see Gooter on, I be like, oh, it's not Thursday. But let me just remind you, the Thursday Freakout, 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. At that point, you can call in. Have some words, if you have them, about whatever you want to talk about. Just freak out about it. If you turn out to be someone who has been dealing with reptilians all your life. I mean, there's theories out there where, like, fucking reptilians come in and they grab, like, little kids and program the fuckers into doing all kind of stuff. And they remain programmed for the rest of their fucking lives. And the reptilians, pick them up, find out what the hell they were doing, program them some more, and Send them on their merry way. I'm not making this shit up. That's the way people report it. Hashtag true story. The article is from theguardian.com. Conspiracy craze. Why 12 million Americans believe alien lizards rule us. Yes, alien lizards. Like your boss is a fucking lizard. I'm telling you. You tell me why that fucker does not leave his desk. That's because he's sitting on a heating rock. Yeah. I just blew your mind just now. I heard the explosion all the way the fuck over here like a nuclear bomb. Yeah, your boss, your manager, is a lizard. He's a reptilian. And why is he always sitting on his desk all comfy and shit? He won't leave that shit. He sits there like an overseer. Because he's sitting on a heating rock. Pull that motherfucker off the chair and you'll see that heating rock, I promise you. But anyway, all jokes aside, psychologists are trying to figure out why. Why is it that the many people who in all other facets of life seem to be rational about things, they seem to all of a sudden go into these illogical conspiracy theories about people who have power over them. And by the way, let me just say one thing. I still don't understand why Madonna is a reptilian. I can theorize about this until the cows come home. But here's my theory about that. Before we get into this whole story situation, here's the thing. Like, you grew up with Madonna, right? Like a virgin, she's got all that stuff going on, all seductive, and you're some kid. You're having wet dreams about this chick all the time. Then you grow up, and now she's like fucking almost 55, and you're like, oh shit, she's been held together by plastic surgery because she's a fucking reptilian. And then everything just falls apart for you. Like all your childhood wet dreams, they all go to shit because you just figured out when you're like 20, 30, 40 years old that Madonna is on AARP or Social Security. And she basically right now is being held together by plastic surgery. And you look at her and you're like, oh, it looks like some skin's falling off. And then in your mind, back in the day when Madonna was the shit, you get the flashback of that one miniseries called V, where the aliens were reptilians and their fucking skin would come off and you'd see the green shit behind it. I don't know. I just worked that all in my mind. So you psychologists, you guys can go fuck off. I just figured the whole thing out. It's our childhood television that's fucked us all up. That's what it is. Hashtag no fucks given. Yeah. So anyway, according to, let's get back to the story, right? According to the Public Policy Polling Survey, say that 3 times, around 12 million people in the United States believe that interstellar lizards in people suits, because why else would they be in anything other than that, rule our country. Yeah. Now, let me just back this up because the story also says that we need to blame David Icke. It is David Icke's fault because according to David Icke, the Queen of England is a blood-drinking, shape-shifting alien and also a reptilian. Yeah, like he's beating that older woman up, the Queen of England. And why? I don't understand. There isn't. It's not like back in the day, right? The royalty is not the same. But apparently David Icke says she's a lizard. Just look at her. And actually, I think he even posts pictures on his websites where it shows like she has like these totally filled in black eyes and crazy ass fucking teeth. Lizard teeth. According to psychology, conspiracy theories are not bad. In general, they're not too bad. They're kind of okay. To be honest, according to them. I got conspiracy theories, right? But none of them involved lizard aliens. There's a quote here from Rob Brotherton, and he's an academic psychologist and author of Suspicious Minds, Why We Believe in Conspiracy Theories. And he says this: if we were all completely trusting, it would not be good for survival. Sometimes people really don't have our best interests in mind. And that's the truth. That is the God's honest truth. There are many times where people have their own best interests, not yours. So they will trample on you and trample on anything that you believe in, any work that you try to complete. Come on, you guys know that. It happens at work all the damn time. In school. Fucking your own families, that shit happens. No fucks are given there. And he gives an example. But when people leap from thinking their boss is trying to undermine them, which is okay because, bosses try to screw people over, to believing their boss might be a secret lizard person, they probably cross from what psychologists refer to as a prudent paranoia to illogical territory. I don't know. I mean, it depends. Like, if your boss leaves, you find that heating rock, he's a fucking lizard. You were right. If he leaves, and all of a sudden, you go by his desk, and you find, like, little poops everywhere, he's a fucking lizard. Not gonna lie. If he leaves, and you find, like, wings or legs from, like, crickets laying around, he's a fucking lizard. Come on, stop fucking around. You're okay. Just quit. Just walk out. Don't ever come back. Now, the study also looked into a lot of illogical ideas, as they say up north, ideas, that were kind of held by individuals when this particular survey was run. And here are the numbers. So if you believe in lizards, you're not alone, because people believe in all crazy kind of conspiracies. So hold on to your lizard tightly, really tight. Put them in your fucking pocket. Around 66 million Americans believe that aliens landed at Roswell. Come on, why is that a conspiracy theory, fuckers? Who cares about psychology? Around 22 million people believe that the government faked the moon landings. Now, that's a real conspiracy theory. There's a lot of prominent researchers who have written books about that and provide evidence to the contrary that these moon landings actually happened. So I can see how that could build some crazy conspiracy static around the world. Around 160 million believe that there is a conspiracy surrounding the assassination of former U.S. President John F. Kennedy. That goes without saying. That is just so 2.458 far flung to where we don't know what the hell's going on there. Sorry, I can't even rationalize that. There's just too much conspiracy there. Beyond the realm of UFO Buster Radio. It's not that kind of podcast, people. But that's an example of conspiracy theories. And then you throw in the reptilian overseers and you got problems. Because you really can't explain that any other way than being governed by an alien entity that really gives two fucks about you. You're basically either a slave or a piece of meat. Sad to say. The article also goes into the fact that it is very possible that you know someone in your life that believes in some version of the conspiracy theory that there are lizard people that are controlling society. And not only controlling society, but that actually look for signs of things like lizard teeth in public people. Figures. People in power. People that were voted by the masses to have power, but apparently the masses didn't understand that these guys were a bunch of fucking lizards. Joseph Usensky, probably fucked that up, associate professor of political science at the University of Miami, and he's also the author of American Conspiracy Theories, says this: conspiracies are for losers. Not actual losers. Then let me just help Usinski out. He says that conspiracies are for people who are out of power. They use them to strategically close ranks and salve their wounds. So basically, if your life is really fucked up, you can't explain anything. You know, you got defrauded off of something. Your credit bureau sucks. Your family hates you. Your boss thinks you're an asshole. Your mom wouldn't even talk to you. The guy at the gas station wouldn't even give you fucking gas. The conspiracy is that all those motherfuckers are reptilians. And it's easier to believe that, eventually, than to believe that maybe you fucked up somewhere along the line. Yeah, so that's why they say conspiracies are for losers. Not necessarily that you are a loser, but you kind of... I'm trying to help Usinski here a little bit, but you kind of, you know, when you're down in the dumps, you kind of think that a higher power is controlling it and fucking you over. Layman's terms. I love it. But there's a quote here by Usinski. He says, I don't mean it in the pejorative sense, but people who are out of power use conspiracy theories to strategically alert their side to danger, to close the ranks and salve their wounds. Think about any election. The morning after, half of the country says the election was rigged, and the other half is happy. So the guys who lose think that the Russians did it. Hint, hint. Wink, wink. Yeah. Whenever a fucker loses in an election, the other half thinks somebody somewhere is controlling something to make them lose. Because there is no fucking way that our motherfucker would have lost that election. Yeah, and they will go to the grave believing that shit. No. Maybe they just fucking lost. How about that? Maybe you should understand that. Or you can believe in the reptilians. That one lizard that you let go when you were a kid and you threw him in the toilet grew up to be a reptilian overseer, and now he's fucking your life over because you threw him in the toilet like an asshole. Not sure that works for everyone, but fuck, it works for me right now. Yeah. So I'm sure you're thinking, well, bad for me because I flushed him.
I know he's bad for me. He just wants me like he's attached to me. So what's standing in our way? Yeah, he got such power over me, but I try to act cool about it. But what's standing in our way? He doesn't mind at all. He want my juice like he does whatever what he feels for nobody but himself. No, yeah. He doesn't mind at all. He want my juice like he does whatever what he feels for nobody but himself. No, yeah. Pull myself together to not give myself the pressure. I don't know what to do with this. Should I let him go? Oh, go. I don't know what to do with this. Should I let him go? Oh, go. I fall for his eyes when he's staring into mine. Know he's bad for me. So what's standing in our way? And he's out of my league. I feel insecure, but I hope this is real, yeah. He doesn't mind at all. He want my juice like he does whatever what he feels for nobody but himself. No, yeah. He doesn't mind at all. He want my juice like he does whatever what he feels for nobody but himself. No, yeah. together. To not give myself the pressure. I don't know what to do with this. Should I let him go? Oh, go, go. I don't know what to do with this. Should I let him go? Oh, go, go. I don't know what to do with this. Should I let him go? Oh, go, go. I don't know what to do with this. Should I let him go? Oh, go, go.
You know, I play this little news thing to buy more time. Here's the magic of live podcasting, and that I was having a little back and forth with Gooter, and it turns out he says Ike must have had a really effed up early life. I don't think he got any breast milk, to be honest. But besides that, I can say this. If people believe that David Icke is so fucked up, what about Sylvester Stallone? I know I'm kind of like leaving the conversation in a way. So David Icke last year got his visa revoked by Australia, so he could not enter the country. Because, you know, he was going to go spew his craziness down there in Australia. So I'm like, no, fuck no. No, fuck no, mate. That's as far as my Australian accent goes. You're not entering the country. You get your happy arse. That's not even Australian. The fuck out of here. We'll have our kangaroos do you dirty. But, you know, again, is that wrong? You know, you can't let some guy that's going to spew a bunch of unfounded craziness about the Queen into your country. But then let's look at who else got banned, like Sylvester Stallone. Now, I will formally say that I think Sylvester Stallone is a reptilian. Anyone at his age that's a dude and takes steroids and still looks like an old woman, that fucker is a reptilian. I'm just saying. That's my theory. Somebody let him know. Come on the podcast and defend why he's not a reptilian. He won't be able to. Not one bit. Get off the steroids. I bet you will see your gills. He's probably amphibian. Yeah, I just drew first blood. Just in case you guys are counting. The next article proves that the reptilian conspiracy is something else. I don't even know how to explain this. Like when I saw this, I was baffled by the story in ways that I could not explain. The title for this article that was brought to you by the Independent UK. It's a rough one. I'm going to try to be, well, I guess more like not be insensitive to the topic. Let's just say that. Let's just leave it at that. Alien reptile conspiracy at heart of murder trial baffles prosecutors. Yeah. The cult leader describes murderer as vampire witch reptilian super soldier. Now there's a lot of shit in there. I was thoroughly fucking confused. There are so many things in there. Vampirism, fucking witches, reptilians, and super soldiers. I mean, it is enough for one person to be one of each of these. But to have one motherfucker be all four, there's problems. Someone's going to have to answer to this. Barbara Rogers called 911 emergency services and said this: my boyfriend had a gun. He told me to hold it here and press the trigger, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, he's dead. Just like that. I mean, really? You could not press the trigger and kill his ass? Well, it turns out that it wasn't so, I don't know, straightforward. It was it wasn't a case of attempted murder-suicide or suicide by vampire witch bitch. Nope. It has nothing to do with that. Apparently when the police arrived at the double-wide trailer, I'll pause for a second. You guys take that in. Inside they found 32-year-old Steven Mineo dead from a close-range .45 caliber bullet wound to the forehead. Like, if I'm going to kill the fucking lizard, right in the forehead, that's what they get. Rogers, which was on the phone with emergency services, was arrested and charged with her boyfriend's murder. Now, I'm not the one who wrote this, but I'm going to just say what the article says, that behind what first appeared to be a simple domestic killing, and I don't understand how any domestic killing is simple. I found that in it of itself to be quite bizarre that they would say that. Investigators soon found a bizarre backstory involving an extraterrestrial cult that has swallowed up both Rogers and Mr. Mineo. Bananas. Completely bananas. It turns out, according to the article, and I actually came across about 5, maybe 6 articles about the same situation, and they really don't report anything different. So according to the Pocono Record, Rogers' first-degree murder trial began in March of this year. She claimed in court that the couple had gotten into a disagreement about which one of them was the leader of the cult, and basically who preaches a heady stew of alien conspiracy theories, apocalyptic biblical interpretations, and warnings about reptilian extraterrestrials living secretly as humans. So they got into the argument of who's going to lead all that shit. Well, that's a problem. Somebody has got to be the quote-unquote head of the snake. Rogers claimed, basically, that Mineo had placed the gun in her hand and pulled the trigger. She said she did not know the gun was loaded. Come on, lady. Stop fucking around. Yeah, are you serious? Why would he put the gun to his forehead with your finger on the trigger and then argue about who's going to lead the cult? Something is not right in the state of Denver. Something is really fucked up, but this didn't happen in Denver. Hashtag no fucks are given. It turns out that earlier this year, the judge sentenced the 44-year-old to 15 to 40 years in prison for the incident. The family of Mineo, which was the fiancé who ended up with the gunshot to the forehead, said this: "To me, it's amazing that somebody could put a gun to somebody's head, blow their brains out essentially, and a jury find them guilty of third-degree murder and not first." That came from Jackie Mineo, the victim's aunt. She got a break. She got a big break today. But the plot thickens. It's not just about who was leading the crazy-ass cult that lived the life of reptilians. Apparently, Shiner told the NewJersey.com website that she believed that Rogers, the fiancé with the bullet hole in the forehead, that he was a vampire witch reptilian super soldier. Yeah, and apparently the issue with leadership started when Rogers wrote on Facebook a bunch of posts talking about her cravings cravings for red meat and the preference for steak tartare. I mean, I'd kill anybody if they want to be eating red meat. Fuck that. There's a problem there. It just makes no sense. But again, this is the reptilian conspiracy at its best or worst. I don't know. You guys make up your mind what the hell this is. There was another quote by Shiner that says, "There's only one type of person who craves the raw meat because they crave the blood. Those with vampire demons in them." And she actually said this on a YouTube video. So she pretty much hung herself. That's just the way it goes. She fucked up. She's guilty. She went out to kill the vampire, the reptilian, the super soldier, and the witch. I mean, she is like the fairy tale super soldier good guy, but it's kind of scary when you try to pass yourself off as the victim when you're holding the freaking gun to the dude's head. But this is not so much about the story because there's a lot of fucked up things in the story, but it's the reptilian story. The reptilian story is prominent in ufology. And usually it's not a positive story. Reptilians are seen as very angry people that are looking to destroy our society, and so they like to do it from within, like chameleons. We know those reptiles. Like chameleons, they take the form of folks in power, and they're trying to destroy humanity for whatever reason. I don't know. It's just crazy. I don't understand why this is a thing. But I would welcome anyone who has evidence of any reptilian interactions to come forward and give us that evidence. Show me a reptilian. I would love to interview a reptilian and have that deep-rooted conversation about why are they trying to undermine society here on Earth when we can coexist if they just show themselves. Which is a lie, because you know they'll end up being boots, basically, or nice belts. And I think that's what, if there is reptilians, that's what they're afraid about. They will be. There would be leather pockets, freaking wallets, and all kind of shit, gloves. They would be fucked, to be honest. They really would. And I think that's what it is. You have to break down our society before you can take over, if they exist. I'm not saying they do. But if I was a reptilian, that's what I would do. But you tell me, do you have one? Have you seen one? Have you talked to one? Is there one in your past or your future? If you're a medium, I don't know. Just let me know. Leave me a message. Call me. Send me an email. Hit me up on social media. Otherwise, reptilian conspiracies might just go up in flames. Well, I guess we're getting towards the end of the podcast. Those are the two stories. And I just want to say this, just in general, just because I figure if I don't give my 2 cents, who will? Reptilians are not pissing in your cornflakes. They're not. They're not flicking you off at the red light or the green light. They're not passing you in traffic. They're not skipping you in line. I don't think reptilians are shorting you on your pay. And they definitely did not make your significant other not take her pregnancy pills. Yeah. They didn't do all of that. And there's a host of other things that they didn't do because it's common issues that happen in everyday life. And that is the loser theory that Usinski was talking about. You can't take all the bad things that happen because you know what? Murphy's Law. Shit will go wrong if it can. Because you're not in control of everything. But don't blame reptilians because who the fuck knows? Reptilians may not even care to that degree. If reptilians are real, they really think about the global big picture. How can they influence the masses, not the fact that your dog shit on your couch? I'm just saying. There's more conversations to be had about reptilians. And from now to the end of the year, I'm going to visit a lot of the stories in ufology besides reptilians, like the Nordics or the Nodics. You know, those blondish aliens from lots of stories out there. Hell, even Travis Walton talked about the Nordics. So we'll talk about the Nordics as well. Kind of round up all the species because there's, you know, depending on what website you look on, there could be anywhere from 5 fucking different species to like in the double digits, the high double digits. And where they're at, nobody fucking knows because we have no proof of not a fucking one. But we will talk about that. We will get into this whole species thing, especially when aliens and UFOs are out on fucking vacation for the holidays. This is Manny Moonraker. Be sure that you follow the podcast on everywhere that mobile podcasts can be heard. On Facebook, UFO Buster Radio page. Also on the UBR Truth Seekers page, which is a group where we talk all the shit because we can. On Twitter at UFO Buster Radio and on Instagram at Manny Moonraker. And Gutter says, yeah, it's cool. There's a lot of, there's a cast of different species out there, but we just need one of those fuckers to get on the podcast. I'm going to check out right now. Gooder, thank you for coming on. And I feel like I'm losing every battle. Every fucking battle. So, ciao.